Hello, my fellas. Today, let's dive deep into analyzing one of the strongest members of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Obito. In this analysis, we'll follow his journey through time, exploring and uncovering the evolution of his power, from his rather unremarkable beginnings to becoming one of the most powerful figures in the ninja world. But before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for sticking with this channel from the very start, supporting me through every analysis video like this. If you're new here and find this video interesting, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Right now, the channel has 2.7k members, but our next goal is 10k subs, so we can continue exploring the most incredible powers and stories in the anime world. With your support, from longtime viewers to newcomers, I'll keep pushing myself to bring even better content. So hit that subscribe button now to never miss a new video, and let's grow together. Thank you all so much. Now, let's analyze Obito's strength in his early years, back when he was just a young ninja of the Hidden Leaf. Obito Uchiha. Just hearing that name, you'd know he came from one of Konoha's most prestigious clans. But as a kid, he didn't have the natural genius of Itachi or Sasuke. Compared to other prodigies in his clan, young Obito was pretty ordinary, even seen as weak. But one thing made him stand out: his determination and his dream of becoming Hokage. Unlike many other Uchiha, Obito had a warm and kind-hearted personality. He genuinely wanted to protect his friends. He wasn't obsessed with hatred or power, he just wanted to be acknowledged. This was especially clear in how he always tried to help others, particularly Rin, the girl he secretly liked. But ironically, this kindness made him seem a bit weak. Obito didn't have outstanding physical abilities, speed, or technique like Kakashi. This made him fade into the background in Team Minato. When he was placed in Team 7 alongside Kakashi and Rin, he had the chance to train under one of the strongest shinobi of the era, Minato Namikaze. Under the guidance of the future Hokage, the team grew stronger quickly, but Obito still lagged behind. Kakashi was a natural-born genius, no question about it. He could execute missions with cold precision, while Obito was impulsive, emotional, and clumsy. But even though he was weaker, Obito never gave up. He kept training, trying to prove himself to the team, especially to Kakashi. But a ninja's strength doesn't come from effort alone. It takes a serious trigger to awaken their true potential. And everything changed during the battle at Canopy Bridge. This was a crucial turning point in Obito's journey to power. When Rin was kidnapped by the Stone Village ninja, Obito, despite being weaker, was determined to save her. This moment completely changed him. During the battle, Kakashi was injured and could barely fight back. Seeing his friend in danger, Obito's intense emotions triggered his Uchiha blood, awakening his Sharingan. This awakening was crucial, not just because it made Obito stronger, but because it marked a psychological turning point. He was no longer the timid boy he used to be. He had the courage to stand up and fight, to protect those who mattered to him. With the Sharingan, Obito could predict enemy movements, dodge attacks, and counter with precision. But unfortunately, this was the first, and also the last time he would use this power in his old form. As the team tried to escape the collapsing cave, Obito pushed Kakashi out of harm's way, but ended up being crushed by falling rocks. This was the fateful moment that changed everything forever. Even though he had just taken a huge step forward in power, fate didn't give him the chance to continue fighting as a Konoha ninja. After this, everyone believed he was dead, but in reality, this was just the beginning of an entirely different Obito, stronger and far more terrifying. Many people think Obito was weak. At this stage, I'd agree. Compared to monsters like Itachi or Kakashi, he was definitely at a disadvantage. However, his biggest weakness wasn't his physical ability or his technique. It was the lack of a strong enough drive to unlock his true potential. And one thing to note, he awakened his Sharingan with 2 tomoe in each eye. Normally, people awaken the Sharingan with just one Tomoe, and it takes time and training for the number to increase. But Obito awakened with two Tomoe in each eye right from the start. Simply put, his power just hadn't fully bloomed yet. After the incident, everyone thought Obito was dead, but he wasn't. He was saved by Madara. Madara was the one who saw his potential. Their encounter opened a door that led to the awakening of the hidden abilities buried deep within Obito. Witnessing Rin's death was the key turning point in his transformation. At that moment, both he and Kakashi awakened their Mangekyou Sharingan. Rin's death wasn't just a deep psychological shock. It set Obito on a path to seeking power to change fate itself. From an analytical perspective, this event was what allowed Obito to break away from his old moral values and embrace a new ideology, one where personal power was the key to achieving his goals. He gradually convinced himself that gaining overwhelming strength was necessary to reshape the current order of the ninja world. And that was how we got Akatsuki Obito. During this time, Obito began showcasing the abilities granted by his Mangekyou Sharingan, with Kamui being the most notable. Kamui allowed him to phase through attacks and teleport through space, making it easy to evade enemy strikes while launching unexpected counterattacks. This ability became especially dangerous in battle, where opponents struggled to pinpoint his actual location. After meeting Madara, he was implanted with Hashirama's cells. Thanks to this, Obito gained the ability to use wood release. It's likely that these cells also played a role in his ability to spam short-range Kamui continuously and even integrate it seamlessly into his fighting style. In reality, Obito was extremely secretive about his full power. We rarely saw him engage in full-on combat. He mostly appeared, taunted his enemies, then vanished into Kamui, leaving them frustrated and confused. Because of this, it's difficult to accurately measure his true strength. But let's not forget, by the age of 20, he was already considered the true power behind the fourth Mizukage, effectively controlling the Hidden Mist Village from the shadows. And yes, he manipulated a Jinchuriki using Genjutsu. And do you remember his fight with Minato? He couldn't land a hit on him, simply because he was facing the fastest shinobi of all time. But the key point is that at that moment, with just a single eye, he had already gained control over the Ninetales. He only lost control when Minato placed a contract seal on him. From a strategic perspective, the shift in Obito's mindset is particularly noteworthy. In the past, he primarily relied on brute strength and straightforward jutsu to solve problems. However, after Rin's death, his approach changed. He began focusing on complex strategies and coordination with other Akatsuki members. His ability to command and direct his allies wasn't just proof of his leadership. It also showcased his long-term vision, prioritizing overarching goals over personal relationships or individual gains. Obito didn't fight often, not because he wasn't strong enough, but because he simply didn't need to. He preferred not to waste time on unnecessary battles. His intelligence was far from ordinary. This mastermind operated at a strategic level comparable to that of a Hokage. His power reached new heights when he acquired the Rinnegan. Taking the Rinnegan from Nagato's corpse and implanting it into his left eye marked a significant evolution in his abilities. Even though he only used one Rinnegan and wasn't its original owner, Obito still gained an immense power boost, allowing him to access and utilize all 6 paths techniques. Madara originally gave the Rinnegan to Nagato because, as an Uzumaki, he had the chakra reserves and resilience necessary to handle it. This means that Obito's own chakra and durability were exceptionally strong as well. He was able to manifest outer path abilities, such as summoning the demonic statue of the outer path and creating chakra chains to bind his opponents. Furthermore, under the influence of the Rinnegan, Obito developed his own version of the 6 paths of pain system by resurrecting 6 Jinchuriki, each of whom had their respective tailed beast sealed within them once again. He controlled them through a single chakra receiver embedded in their bodies. A remarkable detail was that each Jinchuriki possessed the same eye pattern as Obito, Sharingan in the right eye, granting them enhanced perception and predictive abilities, and Rinnegan in the left eye, allowing Obito to share vision and synchronize their movements perfectly. This combination not only demonstrated how he extended the range of his power, but also highlighted his ability to coordinate complex interactions between his own strength and the forces under his command. And I must emphasize this, he could use the Samsara of Heavenly Life technique to revive the dead without dying himself. Throughout the Naruto series, Uchiha Obito experienced many different phases of power, but none could compare to when he became the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, Jubi Obito. After becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, Obito Uchiha reached a level of power far beyond even the greatest shinobi in history. One of the clearest demonstrations of this was how effortlessly he destroyed the Four Red Yang formation, a barrier so powerful that it required all four Hokage to maintain. This wasn't just an ordinary defensive wall, it was a sealing technique specifically designed to contain the Ten Tails itself, and yet Obito didn't need any specialized sealing-breaking jutsu. He simply created massive chakra arms, grabbed the barrier from all four sides, and crushed it as if it were nothing more than a fragile sheet of paper. He did it with absolute ease. Immediately after witnessing this, Hashirama Senju, the man hailed as the god of shinobi, the only warrior who had ever defeated Madara Uchiha when he wielded both the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the Nine Tails, admitted that Obito was stronger than him. Tobirama agreed, and if that wasn't enough, Hiruzen, a Hokage who had survived through multiple generations of war, also confirmed it. When three of the strongest Hokage in history unanimously acknowledged that Obito had surpassed Hashirama, there was simply no room for debate. But Obito's display of power didn't stop there. Right after destroying the barrier, he moved so fast that even Hashirama and Tobirama couldn't react in time, taking them down before they even realized what had happened. Minato, the man known as the fastest ninja in history, could do nothing but admit that Obito was simply too fast. We are talking about the fourth Hokage, the fastest shinobi of all time. This means that, at that moment, Obito had reached a level beyond the normal limits of shinobi. What's even more fascinating is that even Madara Uchiha himself was surprised by this power. Madara, the man who spent his entire life in pursuit of strength, who fought Hashirama directly for years, and who never accepted anyone as being stronger than him, couldn't help but acknowledge that Obito had reached a completely new level. After becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, Obito also gained access to one of the most dangerous weapons in the entire series, the truth-seeking orbs. These orbs were created from the combination of all five chakra natures, along with yin-yang release, granting them the ability to completely erase anything they touched. This meant that any jutsu, object, or even person hit by them wouldn't just be destroyed, they would be erased from existence, disintegrating into nothingness with no trace left behind. These weapons were also incredibly versatile, as Obito could easily reshape them into staffs, shields, or simply have them float around him like bullets, ready to be fired at any moment. In short, he could transform them into any form he desired. Even an Edo Tensei body, which normally regenerates from any damage, could not recover after being hit by a truth-seeking orb. We literally saw Minato forced to fight with only one arm. Obito completely destroyed the Four Red Yang formation, a barrier that had withstood a massive Bijudama explosion from the Ten Tails without even cracking. This barrier had endured an attack of such destructive power without showing any damage, yet all it took was a single light touch from Obito's staff, and the entire formation vanished without a trace. But he didn't stop there. Obito was also capable of creating the truth-seeking orb barrier, one of the most durable defenses in the entire series. Even when bombarded by multiple Bijutama from all the tailed beasts at once, the barrier remained completely intact. This proved that at this point, very few things in the shinobi world could even come close to breaking through Obito's near-absolute defense. He even faced Naruto, Sasuke, Tobirama, Minato, and Hiruzen all at the same time. Yet he still easily overpowered all of them. This was not just the power of a single individual, it was total dominance. An overwhelming gap in strength so massive that even the greatest shinobi in history could do nothing but get caught in the pace of Obito's attacks. If Tobirama hadn't discovered that the truth-seeking orb defense could be broken by senjutsu, the shinobi world might have ended right then and there. The entire shinobi alliance had to unleash their strongest attacks infused with senjutsu chakra. Sage Art Rasengan, Senjutsu Enhanced Susanoo. Yes, the chakra Sasuke borrowed from Jugo, and even Kurama-coded Susanoo, in a desperate attempt to break through Obito's defenses. In the end, after being weakened by continuous senjutsu attacks, and gradually losing control over the power of the Ten Tails, Obito was not only physically exhausted, but also mentally defeated. That's right, Naruto's talk no jutsu worked once again. It was also fortunate that deep down, Obito had been struggling to keep the Ten Tails from tearing him apart and taking over. In reality, he had been fighting a war on two fronts, against the entire shinobi alliance, and against the Jubi inside him. Remember what Mito Uzumaki said about being a Jinchuriki? Love is the key to taming a tailed beast. And deep within his subconscious, Obito had never let go of the memories of his old teammates, Kakashi, Minato, and Rin Nohara. It was those very memories that helped him maintain control over the Ten Tails' power. Because of this, when Naruto connected with Obito through the chakra link, he was able to, if not easily, then at least without too much difficulty, rekindle Obito's lost dreams, his nostalgia, and the hope he once had for the future. Memories of the past began to resurface in Obito's mind. He saw himself as a young boy, a kid who once dreamed of becoming Hokage, driven by the desire to protect his friends. Images of Rin and Kakashi appeared, reminding him of friendship, love, and everything he had lost on his path of vengeance and destruction. The turning point came when Naruto reached out and connected with Obito, showing him a different path, the one he could have taken if not for the hatred that had consumed him. For the first time in years, Obito truly questioned the road he had chosen. Then, in one final act of defiance against Madara, Obito decided to stand with Naruto and the Shinobi Alliance instead of continuing to be a pawn in Madara's plan. He completely relinquished his status as the Ten Tails Jinchuriki and chose to atone for his sins through action. And yes, while he had Black Zetsu and later Naruto helping him, he still survived having the tailed beasts ripped from his body, something that should have killed him. Not only that, but he kept fighting in the final battle against Kaguya, proving his resilience until the very end. Before sacrificing himself to make amends, he entrusted his Mangekyo Sharingan to Kakashi, along with the power of the Six Paths chakra. This allowed his old friend to wield the full potential of Kamui, giving Kakashi the strength to stand against an even greater enemy, Kaguya. Even though he was once the strongest on the battlefield, even though he once wielded the power of the Sage of Six Paths, Obito was never truly invincible. His greatest enemy was not Naruto, not the Shinobi Alliance, but himself. And so, Obito Uchiha, the man who once held the power of the Six Paths, fell. Not because of strength, but because of enlightenment. Alright, that's all for this episode. If you want me to make a video about any other anime or a specific character, just leave a comment below.